All right, welcome in. Tonight we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, but especially about whether or not we're believers or doubters, or are we negative? Has Utah State turned the corner? What can we expect the rest of the season? That kind of thing. So, appreciate you listening. Few things we need to get out of the way. Disclaimer: this podcast has nothing to do with Utah State or any of its affiliates, coaches, anything like that. And we're brought to you by ustateaggies.com. Right now we've got some premium membership specials going on right now. Use the code AggieUp, and you're going to get 3 months free. And really for a limited time only. I can't stress that enough. It's $4.95 per month. It's like $25 for every 6 months, $45 per year. I may be rounding by a few pennies, but that's the pricing for the Scout.com membership. So many different benefits to that, and so we'll talk about that maybe a little bit later in the podcast as well. Seth, what is up?
What's going on?
Hey. So, Seth's making this big, huge sacrifice by being on the podcast. He's missing his Chicago Cubs. We may even break in with the Cubs update, or maybe we'll just leave that. So
let's just leave it alone for tonight.
Yeah,
no. I think tonight's a good night to skip for the old Cubbies. We'll just forget about game one. Yeah.
All right. Cubs are good at coming back in series.
I'm not worried.
And in the ninth inning. So you never know. You never know, Seth. We'll see. See what happens. So one way or another, it should be a good World Series. But this is not a World Series podcast. We're gonna talk about the Aggies. So, kind of an interesting week. I mean, Utah State obviously got off of a slide of a few games in the Mountain West Conference, a couple disappointing losses, especially when you look at what Air Force has done since then, not winning again in the Mountain West. They lost to Wyoming, who Wyoming's a pretty good team, especially at home. That's not a bad loss for Air Force necessarily. But then they went to Hawaii and lost, right?
Yep.
And so, a couple losses for that Air Force team, and that loss looks even worse. And obviously Colorado State losing that game, not showing up in the second half. So, I mean, those are the facts. Obviously, after the win, not sure if you heard or read the comments by Matt Wells that there's a lot of doubters out there. There's a lot of negativity. And I couldn't disagree more. I feel like fans, media, everyone wants the Aggies to win, right? So are we being negative by stating the obvious, and calling it like we see it? Are we being doubters by asking difficult questions? Are we being doubters by asking what the fans are asking and different things? What's your take on that, Seth?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think the doubters out there. I just think, reading other message boards and stuff like that. A lot of people. I don't know if Coach Wells was referring to a lot of the message board activity or
Twitter,
or what,
message
but
boards, stuff like
Twitter,
that.
Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I expected, earlier podcasts, if people, if you're a diehard listener or whatnot, if you remember back at the beginning of the season, I expected a lot out of the offense, and they've pretty much let me down. And I've gotten more out of the defense than I expected. You see games that they're up and down, and a lot of people got mad because they couldn't hold Boise there at the end or whatever. But you know what? This is a really young defense if you look at it. The guys up front, Seafelt, Aliafua, a couple linebackers sprinkled in there that are seniors. But other than that, we're going to be getting these guys back, and especially the linebacker crew, they've stepped up. there's been a few series where they've kind of, I'm not going to say beat down or whatnot, but they've, lost their way, I guess you could say. But it's just playing with so many different combinations and still getting production out of those different combinations. It's encouraging to me. I guess this last game with the offense, I guess they played a little bit better, but I don't know what you take from that, because Fresno, I mean, they're really bad. I mean, that's not a good team.
Right. That's a fact.
I didn't think that's a fact. I mean, Colorado State, watching them the first half, I'm not going to go back and rehash what happened 3 weeks ago, but I wasn't impressed, and I wasn't impressed before the game with their defensive front, and I'm still not impressed with them. But for whatever reason, it's almost like Lindsey had a really good first half, and then he came out and had that really good run, and he fumbled it, and after that, I don't know if it got in his head, if that got in his head or what happened, but he just didn't seem to run with reckless abandonment like he was in the first half. And I noticed the Fresno game, he had both hands around the ball going through the middle quite often, ball security. But the believers and the doubters, I mean, from what Coach Wells said, I mean, people are calling it as they see it, and he can spin, people can spin it the way they want to spin it, but I don't know. I mean, right now, do I think we've turned the corner on the season? Nah, I don't think we've turned the corner, but I still think there's a lot of opportunity, the rest of the way.
Yeah, and a few things about that. My opinions on that is, one, I'll say it to my grave, whether I'm in the media or not in the media or whatever, or whether I'm just a fan or whatever. So my opinion about the media is the media should be a conduit between the fans and the coaches and the program, right? So if fans are complaining about one thing, like Coach Wells calling the plays, then the media should ask those questions. They should ask Coach Wells, not only for the fans to get an answer or whatever, but also to give Coach Wells an opportunity to answer the questions, right? Can you imagine if Coach Wells was just in a bubble? All the coaches and all the players were just in a bubble. They had no idea what was going on with the fans. The coaches were just doing their thing and everything. Can you imagine that? That wouldn't be a good thing either. Not that they should read every mention and search their name and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes players and coaches, for that matter, get a little caught up in that kind of thing, a little bit too much. So I would rather have them stay away from it. Obviously, it's a good idea to stay away from that, because sometimes it is can be perceived as negativity. And my other thought on that is basically, what fans are going to share their opinions. I'm going to be honest. You're going to be honest. I feel like that's why people listen to this podcast. It's not because of our quality. Neither of us have ever even done a podcast before this. I'd been a guest on podcasts and radio and different things, but we'd never done a podcast, so we understand it's not the best podcast, not the best quality, even though I think we fixed a few things, and hopefully this audio for this podcast is going to be better than some of the ones in the past. But I mean, people are going to share their opinions. People are going to be honest, and if the Aggies don't play well, as a fan, I can 100% understand that people are going to be like, well, this isn't working. Why are we doing this? We want to score every time. We want to win every game. We want to win 10 games every year. I mean, fanatics are going to have, strong feelings. They're going to have strong, high expectations, and that's just the way it is. That's all fans. If Matt Wells thinks these fans or this program or these media people, there's a lot of doubters, well, he should go to name the Midwest, Southern, Southeastern Conference school of your choice, Big Ten, SEC, any other conference, any other P5, any P5 conference team, anywhere you're gonna get doubters. So just because somebody asks a question, doesn't mean that they believe it either. So I may or may not have the opinion that Matt Wells probably would be better off as the head coach and not the play caller. But whether that's my opinion or not. I'm gonna ask Coach Wells about that. So whether I have the opinion of a certain thing or certain way he should have done it or whatever, I'm gonna ask about it. I mean, I'm not as crazy as some people about calling screens and different things like that. I'm usually not taking a really extreme opinion or really frustrated about certain things. I'm pretty level-headed about a lot of these things. I get the reason why certain guys are starting and playing and different things like that. I mean, for these people to come out of the woodwork and say, well, Kent Meyer shouldn't be playing and that kind of thing, that's just craziness. Or Matt Wells should be fired. That's just craziness. There's been a couple bad games, not a couple bad seasons. We can't compare, look at DeRuiter at Fresno. It's hard to, we can't compare things like that. That's a crazy thing to say. So, that being said, I want to plug again ustateaggies.com. We've got some new content coming with basketball and with recruiting, especially with basketball. We've got Kyle Haywood writing articles and posting articles probably almost every day. Each newcomer, because there's 10 newcomers to the basketball team. He's going to be posting those almost every day. And so the Norbert Janisic one is already up. And so go check it out. Go to ustateaggies.com. You can get updated on all the new offers. Utah State's been busy in state, and they've been offering new guys in state. And there's been a lot of visitors. There's official visits coming up and different things going on. So definitely check it out. Go to ustateaggies.com. You're going to get inside information. You're going to find out about offers and visits and commits and different things that you wouldn't get otherwise. So definitely go check that out. Check out the premium membership, because you're going to get discounts on gear. You're going to get discounts on tickets. You're going to get discounts on all kinds of different things, as well as any recruiting information nationwide. A lot of it's premium, so you can only read that, those articles and interviews if you're a premium member. So use the Aggie Up promotion code, get a couple months free, and away you go. And so Seth, what's your opinion on kind of the outlook for the rest of the season? Is it a matter of let's kind of wait and see the next couple days, next couple games are going to show a lot about this team, how they can kind of finish strong or win out or whatever. Obviously, winning out would be kind of the extreme of positivity. But what do you see coming in the future?
Well, with this week, I think obviously we know what happened at Utah State last year, and they had a lot of momentum going into that game, and they basically got smacked around. There's no other way to describe that game. I mean, they got manhandled. So I'm looking for, they know what they're going to get out of San Diego State. They throw the ball 10 to 20 times a game, and then they just shove it down your throat. And it's a tough task to stop them because they're really good at what they do.